Hi everyone, it's me, it's BDevine. Thank you so much for being here. And I am making this video today because we are right at the end of September, of course, and I am going to be getting into some October messages for us all, of course, see what's coming in and what's coming up. And I just wanted to share a few things. The first thing is welcome to new people. If you're just finding me for the first time, welcome, you made it. Okay, you're going to learn a lot on this channel if you are interested in spiritual knowledge and practices. And I do a lot of different types of readings, and I have been doing this for 32 years, everybody. That is how long I've been focused on spirituality, readings especially, and through those readings, being able to connect into deeper healing and working with soul energy, to now doing spiritual therapies and teaching you, of course, this is my next step, is teaching you through my academy. Okay, now of course we know that I'm teaching tarot, and the reason I'm doing this is so you all can go out and do these things in the right way, because there's plenty of people doing it the wrong way. Okay, we don't want that for our future. We don't want that for our future. We want our future to be a place of light where people don't have these traumas. People don't have the PTSD. They don't have the past life traumas. They don't have all of this horrible energy that they've had as a child. They don't have the repeating behaviors. They don't have the karmic patterning. They work out how to become in control of their life without the use of any types of chemicals, any medications, or even needing to go to hospitals, doctors, therapists, psychiatrists, all those things. This is where we are headed. Because I can tell you right now, and you already know this anyway, that the way that we know this world is absolutely going to change. Now, none of you 10 years ago would have imagined that the things that we're seeing today, okay, the mass control, the mass inflation, the overspending with the governments, things happening with children, taking children and allowing children to become harmed in multiple ways. All right, making money out of a child more than just sex trafficking. Okay, making money out of a child in multiple ways, and you don't even want to know, but you're going to know. The one thing that I have really discovered about myself in this journey, and one of the reasons why I'm making this quick video like this today, is I didn't realize how much I was stopping myself from saying the things that I really wanted to say, because I didn't want to, I guess, upset anybody or upset the apple cart. And now I find, you know what, I am done pussyfooting around the truth of this world. And as I said to you all before, I don't even vote. It has nothing to do for me politically. The truth is right in front of our faces. Okay? And it's even going to be more plain in October and November 2022. Do you remember last year in 2021, I talked about Pluto returns, and I talked about this being the exact same energy that was on the planet at the time of the writing of the Declaration of Independence. Independence from the British monarchy, right? This is why we wrote it. And it meant that people had certain rights as Americans, right? This particular energy also was going to focus on governments and resources, because the energy of Pluto is sitting in Capricorn. Now, this came out, the energy of Pluto in Capricorn has been there for a while, but the exact placement at the time of the writing of the Declaration of the Independence was February the 22nd this year. So the same as July 4th, right? 1776 at about 5 p.m. So that same exact energy came through. Now, I am not an astrologer. I just enjoy listening and doing my, astrological chart and things like that. But this is important because it also continues through the end of October into November. Isn't that funny? When the midterms are happening in the United States. Now, this Pluto energy, okay, Pluto is a destroyer. It rips things up at the roots and flips it over and exposes it. Oh, my angels are here. Exposes it to everybody, right? Now, some people still have some kind of blinker on, okay, as we know. And unfortunately, our job is not going to be focused around waking up per se. Because honestly, if people don't know by now that what's been happening is absolute crap, that it's absolutely destroying people's lives, if they don't know that or see that and just think, this is great, that's the way that they're going to be programmed. I'm afraid we're going to have to deal with some of that as we move forward. The freedom that you want in your life is something that you're going to have to also own. We can't be looking to everybody else to save us. We can't be looking for aliens to come down and do it. We can't be looking for Mr. T to come back and do it either, okay? Because even if we are helped through the military and even if we are helped through other leaders, okay, who aren't part of the big black plan, when I say black, I mean evil, okay? Even if there are people that have been just waiting to jump forward, don't focus on that. And instead, make sure that you're okay inside of yourself. Because as I've explained to many of you before, after all, you've all been through 2 years, coming up on 3 years, right, of psychological abuse in any way that it just doesn't matter how you want to look at it. And what this does is that it creates a part of you that moves itself into the energy of fear, okay? And when you're moving into the energy of fear, you're going to actually do one of two things or both, okay? When you're in the energy of fear, you're either going to submit to the fear and give into it, right? You're going to do as you're told. Or with fear, you're going to then revert back to a helplessness kind of energy, where suddenly you're feeling like a child that doesn't know what the hell's happening and is relying on an unstable parent. Okay, this is a real thing that happens to you when you are going through major trauma. Now, you may not realize that you've been going through major trauma because you've been adapting on a day-by-day basis to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, which leads to a catastrophic type of energy where you're looking for a catastrophe anywhere and everywhere. And these are the people that have got negative viewpoints, right? They are in their fear energy. They've got negative viewpoints. They don't want to hear that there are underground tunnels full of children that have been stolen and abused in ways you don't want to know about. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that the rich and famous and the Hollywood elites and the elites all over the globe are involved. They don't want to hear that. That's too much. It's too much. Okay? And it's even too much for people who are dealing with it. Okay? So what they do instead is become, out of fear, they become angry. And they feel justified in being angry. The other side of the fear is subservience, like being subservient. So your brain is just molded to do whatever you're told because you want to get out of the situation. The other thing that can happen is like Stockholm syndrome, where you sympathize with your abuser. And even if you break free from your abuser, they got into your head so much that you might take your own life or go right back to the abuse. Because in some people's minds, abuse patterning is a safety. That makes them feel safe. They're so used to having it that they don't even notice the subtle abuse patterns that happen throughout everyday life. Okay? So when we're dealing with traumatized people who have a flight, fight, or fawn freeze response, meaning they'll get really angry and fight, or they'll take off and hide somewhere and make sure you got your bug out bag. We're going down. It's all going down. The world's gonna end. Right? Freeze is the next one. They'll be like, I'm just not gonna do anything. All's good if I just go in my room, sit on my phone, and I'll just wait it out. And fawn, unfortunately, is what BDevine has been doing the last couple of years, is trying to please people, trying not to step on anybody's toes, trying not to be taken down from YouTube, considering so many really amazing channels just got wiped out, trying to stay on target, trying to make sure that I'm keeping up with everything that I'm doing and no one's upset with me, and I've answered every single email and I've been available to anybody at any time because I know what you've all been going through, right? So the fawn pleases, okay? Tries to, at least. Until there comes a point where there is no pleasing everybody. It's actually an impossible task. Because as I've said to you all before, you could be a big, fat, juicy piece of chocolate. And there's going to be someone out there who goes, I don't like chocolate. Does it have anything to do with the chocolate? No. It has to do with the person's taste or preference. Right? So, with someone who tries to please, for example, or just tries to do their best all of the time, they don't want to upset anybody. When someone goes away from that person, or doesn't want to listen anymore, it actually has nothing to do with the person, but preference or programming. Okay? So what we have here in this world right now is an enormous surge of energy. Regardless of what's happening on the planet with governmental leaders who are corrupt as hell, who are laundering money, who are making it impossible for the standard ordinary person to just live their life and be left the hell alone. They're making it harder and harder and harder for people. A person who's not focused on their mental health or their spiritual journey and putting those two things together is just going to go haywire. A person who is trying to put it together is still going to get their feelings hurt when they're trying to help, and that help is constantly stomped upon, right? Then you got the people who do nothing, but they just want it all to be over. It's like they are just frozen because as a child, it was best to just stay out of the way while crap was going down. Or I'll just keep really quiet while this happens to me and then it's going to be finished, right? And then you have the fighters that will just get told that they are being supported in their cause and they go right over the top with it without any repercussions, right? And then they're shocked. They're shocked when whoever it was that gave the instruction to go and do whatever damage they've done isn't there. Anyway, it was all a joke. It was all to get everybody fighting. So we have this on the earth plane, okay? underneath the earth plane, we have, and another earth basically, is basically the same as this, but it's kind of like mirrored. And this is where all the horrendous stuff that is hidden takes place. It takes place. People don't want to hear about it. It takes place. Do you know how many people go missing every single year, especially children? It takes place. Okay. Some of them are talking about it. Some of them are screaming to talk to you about it. Okay. You can find them in the right places if you really want to look there. So we have this earth nuttiness, and then we have the shadow earth, or underneath the earth, right? We have all this going on. This is absolutely, you're going to just vomit, you know, if you actually knew, okay, that what's happened here, like what's really happened here, you would hold your kids close to you as hell, right? You wouldn't, it's almost like, you know, I used to just let the boys go and do whatever they had to do. Off you go to the shop. Off you go. You want to go with your mates? Go for it. You know, just let them go. Tell me, you know, make sure you let me know when you're there. You got to be home at a certain time. You know, when I was kids, it was like, God, we were gone everywhere. Like nobody knew. I was going in different towns and stuff. I didn't tell anybody that I was there, you know, and you all, if you've read my About Me story, you know, okay, you might need to. I'm going to go over that one day with you all anyway, but okay, so you have what's going on the surface. It's going on underneath the surface. But then you have the best thing of all. You have what's going on above us. Now, people want to talk about aliens. They want to talk about a false flag to do with aliens. Probably. You know, they've been trying to freak us out for the longest time anyway. But from what I've been instructed, what I've been told multiple times, and I don't tend to get my information from anyone other than directly to the source, okay? Been doing channeling and readings and teaching all this for the longest time now. So I don't need to go, oh, that's what they say? Okay, that's what I believe. I'm trying to make my own way forward here and try to explain it to you as well. But the light or the force, let's just put it in that way, a force of good energy that is connected with higher dimensional beings, okay? Beings and planets that we've all been on before, most likely, especially if you have a lot of empathy within you, right? That, along with the force of the universal light, like this huge force of good, is finished with destroying the top of the top. Meaning, how would we put it? So we could understand. Okay, so if there's a general in the army for the light, and there's a general in the army for the dark, let's just say, put it that way, right? The light forces kicked the dark forces generals and all of his minions and all of the players, kicked their ass right out. Done. Dissolved. You're not allowed in. You had enough time on the planet Earth to wreak your havoc. And we're talking about eons ago, okay? When they first started to manipulate mankind with their agendas, okay? And it was allowed for the sense that humans have free will, okay? Until you understand that you're a sovereign being. And once you understand your sovereignty, none of that darkness can have any hold over you ever again, okay? But anyway, so these commanders and these generals that were on the dark energy side were focused or honed in on financial stuff, finances, and bringing into power regimes, leaderships, and orders that they wanted to see the earthlings as a slave race, right? Let's just put it that way. They were happy doing this. You were being controlled without even knowing that you were being controlled, right? You were watching stuff on TV and you didn't even realize that it was subliminal programming into your brain, right? Which gave you certain ways of looking at things and thinking about things and focusing on things, fantasizing about things, whatever it is, right? So the darkness got in and focused on people who they knew wanted power in the greatest sense and control, and wanted all the money that they could be allowed to have, all the wealth in the world. And with wealth, right? With wealth, you are able to buy people, meaning their silence. You can create an agenda. There's enough people talking about the same thing, plenty of people, everybody starts listening. Because everyone else is saying it, so it must be true. Definition of a smear campaign is to totally make up a whole lot of crap, deliver it through multiple channels as the same load of crap, and everyone believes it's true because it was said on the multiple channels, so it must be correct, even though it was purposely created to screw with your brain and make you doubt how powerful you really are. So we have this light commander, let's just say. It is a force of energy. These are beings who have already dealt with an Earth-like situation and won. We have been there multiple times, especially if you have a calling to healing, especially if you're calling to helping people, whatever way that is, or if you feel super sensitive, right, inside yourself. Then definitely you've had multiple lifetimes on these other higher density or dimensional planets where this crap doesn't happen, because it's already understood that each soul is a sovereign being of light, and as such, nothing who is dark has any power over that. The darkness knows that if you know your sovereign energy, who you really are, they can't manipulate you anymore. Sucks. They just can't do it. Right? So the big wigs, the big commanders in chief, let's just say, that are out there in these realms and in these dimensions, the source of all that is, whatever you want to call that, okay? A collective of light that is more powerful than anything you've ever seen or could even imagine, because it is garnered through multiple universes and galaxies, not just the one that we're in. Multiple, okay? Multiverses, etc. Okay? Now what's happened is, now that these massive dark commanders have been cut off, thrown out, dissolved, destroyed, what does that mean for the elites, the ones that are causing all of this evil? Okay? What does it mean for them? I'm going to tell you what it means for them. If they don't have any higher up backing, okay, and they're 40 steps above, the president status, okay, so we're talking, you've got the president, and then it goes about 40 steps above that to these big wigs that were there. They're gone though, right? And anyone that was reporting to them are gone. So any intermediaries are gone, okay? So what that means is that people who are in charge right now, they have no boss. They've got no one that they're answering to, which means their power is dwindling because there's no more backup. There's no more getting them out of trouble. There's no more faking deaths. There's no more masks that they have to wear and they become a different person. All of those things are gone, and the money that was supplying it is gone. So they are panicking, especially the Biden family are panicking because they have a lot of money. They've got to pay off a lot of people. They've got fingers in a lot of different pies, and there's nothing coming in. So they're creating it and printing it and taking it over to the Ukraine, China, God knows where, all in cahoots, okay? All in cahoots together. all working together to screw us, right? Because they are all wondering what the hell's happened. Who do we report to? What's going to happen when we go down? We're going to just need a lot of money because that's how we've done it before. We're going to have to create it somehow. They are panicking. Okay? They are panicking. The other thing is by their evil agendas, by lying to the people, making up whatever it is it was that they said and promised and campaigned for or whatever. They said they were going to do it, they did the opposite. They said they weren't going to do it, they did the opposite. All under the disguise of, hey, we care about you. If you want to become a female or a male and compete in sports together, and if you want to do this at a small age, your parents shouldn't be able to tell you anything. You should be able to do what you want without caring a crap about the child itself and further care, psychological care, proper consultations. And you've got children across nations just like, okay, yeah, let's chop it off. When the next week they might be like, oh, I need that. Well, this is really painful. This is not what I thought. And pushing their agendas in schools under the disguise that you have been so oppressed, that you have been treated so unfairly, that now we're going to give you this now. That's not what they're doing, though. They don't give a crap about you, honestly. They want you all to fight amongst each other and keep yourself distracted while the elites go ahead and continue to try their best to keep going with the bigger plan, which was to allow only that 1% of humanity to actually exist and the rest of us to be killed off. And you don't want to believe that, and some people don't. Most of you are okay with this. You understand what I'm saying. You're seeing this is not right. This is, at the least, this is the most unprofessional, disgusting display of leadership I've ever seen in my life. If that's the top people in the United States, it is a joke to this country. It's like you're spitting in the face of true leadership. That is not what we want. They've left us vulnerable. They've left us with problems that they don't care about. They've generated more inflation than we've had in 50 years? And they don't care. Only when the price starts coming down, then they want, oh yeah, we did it. Well, I thought you didn't have anything to do with the inflation in the first place, but take a bow, go ahead. Don't forget that the person that you're actually trying to look for in the crowd, Mr. Biden, has actually passed away. How disgusting are you that you can't remember someone's family? You don't have any respect. And you're obviously in cognitive decline, which isn't that one of the amendments? If someone is unfit? God. So this, and look, this is for anybody who's unfit in any country. You're unfit because you're a robot. You're unfit because you're not even supposed to be there. You're surprised as we are. And it's obvious, okay? This is not as it appears to be, though. I want to reassure you this. Okay, so I'm trying to explain very briefly. This is not even everything. But I'm trying to explain that these people in all these different countries around the globe who were getting funded by the evil, who were getting millions given to them and their family and their kids who become drug addicts and just a lunatic, right? All over everything and nobody cares, right? It's okay. He doesn't really have anything to do with the government. It's okay, that's what they say. But the Burisma stuff, millions, okay? So you have all of these things and people that you don't like. Many people don't like Putin. Many people don't like the UKR type of, what's his name again? I can't even remember right now. People, he's doing Vogue cover shoots and stuff, right? Why? Why are celebrities going to visit him? Why? It's war-torn, isn't it? Isn't it dangerous, don't you think? Why should we be floating around the country to visit these places that are in a war right now, if there is one? Or has it been something else? Because many people believe that it has been. So, if these light forces have destroyed the dark forces that were controlling the elites, okay? The elites are going to scramble because they have no master, basically telling them what to do. And remember, these are puppets. They do as they're told, or else they go down into that thing and they're never seen again. Okay? When they speak up too much, they go down in that hole. You never see them again. I believe that I have to tell you these things. As a spiritual being, I believe that I have asked for protection and it's given. And I believe if I get these words out and still say something ridiculous happens, you never see me again. At least you know what might have happened. However, it's not going to take place. But I want you to know, okay, that the light forces have already won. I've told you this so long now. And what we are seeing is the storm. That means the chaos. When you have someone who is a survivor of Stockholm syndrome, as I told you before, they sympathize with their master because they see, so in other words, it's a trauma bond. They see what that master can do, what the power they have. And at first, when they first connect in with this energy, they're terrified. They're like so frightened of that person that they, can you imagine being held captive by someone? Aren't you going to be terrified? Imagine if that happened for years and years and years. And you knew that master, whoever was keeping an eye on you, keeping you trapped, keeping you bound, let's say, and if you knew that person, what that person could do, that you would be watching over your shoulder and doing everything in the way they want you to until something happens to that person. In other words, you get found, you get rescued, or the person gets taken out. But what if that doesn't happen, or you don't know for sure what's happened to this person that's been, keeping you hostage? Whether it's through actual keeping you hostage or money or whatever it is, whatever trade it is. As a victim of abuse, which actually all the elites are, because they've all been tricked into doing what they're doing right now, and they believe it to be the right thing. And they all have done things that are so heinous. That's how they get into the club. We're not going to tell if you don't tell, okay? They are losing their mind quicker than ever before because the boss is nowhere to be seen, which means he could be anywhere. In other words, they have this energy of catastrophe inside of them, which causes an expectation of trouble, an expectation of severe punishment, and they are terrified. And when someone is terrified, as I already explained before, or they live in fear, they can either fight, freeze, run, or try to please everybody. And if you've noticed the looks on the faces of the leaders, they are angry. They are angry because they are fighting with everything that they have. They are pissed that they've been left behind to deal with the rubbish. They thought they were going to get away with the greatest joke on humanity. They thought they were going to get rid of us. But the more that they tried, the stronger the spiritual people became. The stronger the people became together. They try to tell you that there's only a small amount of people that actually are going to fight. And that's a load of shit. Because we're already, we are so tired of our rights and the energy of elites and the energy of stripping things away and making up laws as they go along and making up a story and not giving the straight answer. And you get, the circle back girl, and then you get someone who never answers anything other than to say it's historic. This is historic. Yeah, it's historic rubbish. It's disgusting. As an Australian, I looked at the United States as professionals doing the right thing, trying to do the right thing at least. The land of the free and the home of the brave. What the hell's happened to that? You got people who won't even acknowledge their own flag. Why? Because it might be racist in some way or something. To do that rather than thinking about the principle of having some respect, right? Because these leaders have made you believe that everybody is racist now. They might even be thinking that they're racist and not even know it. My husband and I, were told that we might be internalizing it. It's a load of shit. Now they're telling you what to think. That's when it gets really dangerous, or what you might be thinking, or maybe in the future you're going to be thinking it. I'm not playing that game. I sat here this morning and I was told very sternly as I was calling in, doing my declarations and stuff. And I was told, you need to communicate the truth of what's really going on here. And you just need to do it. And I thought to myself, well, I thought I had been doing it a little bit, But maybe not all. Maybe because I have new people, you don't know me really. Okay? And I am a mother of 3 sons. I was a young mum and I struggled my whole way through life with abuses that you couldn't believe. You wouldn't believe that it happened to me. And when I started working on tarot, it wasn't for, even though other people wanted fortune telling, for me, it was an answer to what I was thinking. It was an answer to my feelings. So if, for example, I would pull a card and it might be the 9 of Swords or something. And I'd read in the little book about the 9 of Swords, and I'd probably read about 5 or 6 different books about the 9 of Swords. And I began to discover the 9 of Swords meant that I was going through some kind of turmoil. And it was an illusion, this turmoil. It was there to make me feel like I wasn't good enough. It was there to make me feel helpless. And if I allowed that to continue, that would become my reality. And I'd be thinking about this like, okay, I can actually be in control of these things as I notice them coming up. Now, for me, it was a breakthrough for me, and it began to help me to understand mental health with clients and people that I did readings for. I still didn't understand all of spirituality. I still didn't have how I do things right now then, because people wanted the palm reading and, people wanted me to read their aura, people wanted the cards to come out. People have parties and call Becky. And my children used to see me put my little bag over my shoulder. I had, a selection of cards or whatnot. And I'd be like, I'm going to do one of these things where there's going to be like 5 or 6 people. I'll be back later on or whatever it was. And all they could say was, yes, we're going to get takeaway tonight. We got some money coming in. You know what I'm saying? It was like, to me, I started to understand that spirituality was about the journey. So was the tarot. Spirituality was about your psyche. So is the tarot. So were cards and things like this, because if you did it correctly, which is what I want to teach you all, if you care to join the tarot classes coming up here, your mind will heal, and you will be able to pinpoint what others are going through if you put the effort in. If not, you may just be one of these, here's a few cards, here we go, let's have a bit of fun with these. You're so much more than that, okay? So I had this real stern voice this morning that I had to sit with you all, kind of thing, and sort of explain this on a deeper level. I'm going to do some readings and things for October, and we know that the evil is getting pulled to pieces. We know that the Antichrist, as we saw on the Nostradamus cards, is going to be, the burning tower is right next to it. It's like it's going to be destroyed in our visual, right? So there's no more talking about it being destroyed. There's no more, okay, this has happened and this has happened. Queen's dead, so now it's a domino effect. We're going to see this and we're going to see that. There's no more talking about it. You're going to just start seeing it. When? Nobody knows. You know why? Because if they did, the elites also know. So if people are giving out dates, then the elites know that date. They're not going to tell us. It's just going to happen. They're not going to allow people to become prepared to have an answer, or to prepared to try to sneak their way out of it, or be prepared to leave the country or something, or go under their bunkers or whatever they're doing. They're not going to give anyone who's dark and corrupt any kind of way out of this time. This is big news. This is the battle for light and dark has already been won by the light. So what we're seeing now is the result of that. Now, those results, it would be easy if it was just one or two people, but you have a spider web, a huge, enormous network of different people who you don't even know anything about. They're not in the limelight. They're just doing the dirty work for the money. You've got all them that have got to go down as well. This is why things have not been simple, to the point. It's all been in riddles. It's all been, this one's saying this and this is saying that, and this one's an insider and that. No, they don't know anything, because you can't. All we've got to do is look for the signs and symbols ourselves. And to me, when I see chaos, destruction, things happening with the weather, okay, distraction, someone killing people over here, when you see people coming or acting bizarre all over the place, when you see people who are in positions of power don't know what day it is, or who's died or who hasn't, or what they said the day before, or what they're saying anyway. What is your message? Because the person who's in charge, apparently, of the United States, his message is dark, it is unsupportive, it is all doom and gloom. He's angry at people, he points his fingers at people, and even raised his fists in the air and things like that. He doesn't like us, because we're in the way of him getting away with all of his deals. He thought everyone would just be shutting up by now, and we're not. Okay, there's corruption in the UK. Oh, now they're trying to get rid of this bird that's in there now. I wonder why. Australia as well. Not sure about their Prime Minister right at this second. I haven't investigated and I don't really want to. But you've got to imagine, that there are so many people that are involved in this. But even those numbers are not as many numbers as we have, we the people of the world, right? If we stick together and strengthen each other, right? Through understanding what we go through on a daily basis and not being victims anymore. Well, I've got this. Well, this is wrong with me. Well, I've had that for years. We stop talking in this way of defeat, right? And we start saying, you know what? I'm just talking myself into an early grave. That's what I'm doing. And I've got shit to do here, because what did I come here for? I came here to help with this shift in consciousness. It's the shift in consciousness that creates the quicker movement to peace that we start to see. It's the release of their handle on us, in our thoughts, on our phones, on our tablets. It's the release of worrying about this. Remember the Nine of Swords, the illusion which has created the energy of discomfort in your body, mind, and soul. It's all an illusion. It's only there because you're creating it, right? And if we start to take our power back in that way, who cares about what next door neighbors is doing? But each day you're focusing on your power, your strength, you are shifting, you are moving, you are happy, you are not giving in to those nagging worries. You're saying, no, that's not my reality. That's the old energy, still trying to hang on and pull me under the waves. It's not happening. You are stronger than what you have been made out to believe your whole life. I was made to believe I was useless my whole life. There's nothing good going to come out of you, right? And I'm one of the only ones that is still here pushing you to focus on yourself as part of your life journey, your spiritual journey, and your soul journey. And as we examine through different methods and different techniques, the way in which humans have over time begun to change their processes. And when you see someone that is manifesting a life for themselves, they're not miserable, they're not complainers, they're not moaners, they just get to it. And they couldn't give a stuff what their neighbor's doing either. I said this morning in one of my messages to everybody. Someone who's really, really successful with business, for example, doesn't give a crap what the next person is doing next door. Oh, I wonder what they think of me across the road. They're just going to do what they're doing. And they are laser focused on that task. And guess what? They get things done and things grow on their own because there's no other choice. The focus is laser pinpointed on where they're headed. There is no distraction. There is no media. There is no other people. There is no comparing. It just is what they're doing. And we have to do this because this will create so much quicker the world we want to see than focusing on, oh no, well, it'll never happen. I hope so. Well, you know, some people say this and some people say that, so I'm just going to keep watching the news. That is going to just, your reality will just be distraction. And you wasted an opportunity to change the globe that you came here to do. Each one of you came here to do this right now. It wasn't going to be easy. We don't learn anything from life being easy. Usually people with an easy life don't focus on spirituality. Excuse me. They're focusing on having an easy life, right? And they probably just manifest an easy life the rest of the way through without realizing that that's what they're actually doing. But people who have been broken into 1,000 pieces and then stuck back together with love are strong as nails, okay? There would be no situation, I'm confident, I don't know if you can say this, but I am confident, at least for myself and probably my husband as well, that there is no situation that could happen on this planet, okay? No situation that could happen on this planet that I wouldn't be able to deal with one step at a time. Doesn't mean I wouldn't be hurt, especially if something happened to my children, but I would deal with it one step at a time. There's no bowling me over. I'm too determined for that. I don't care. All of that of worry and what will they say and what will they think and oh my God, what will I do? That is not ever been really a part of who I am. I've had sad moments. I've been depressed. I've had anxiety for many years in the past, not understanding what those things really were. And when I did, conquered it. You want to learn tarot? I conquered it. You want to learn psychic stuff? Done that too. You want to learn how to teach? Conquered that too. Can teach you all those things. Why? Because the more that someone says I can't, the more I say I can. And we need more of us to do this. Wake up. And what I mean by that, waking up, is not waking up like spiritually or whatever. Wake up your warrior spirit. The ancestors that fought to have these freedoms. The whites as well. The multitude of whites that were kept by the pirates in North Africa. The Bengal, I think they are, pirates. Way more than the slavery that was here in the United States. But there's going to be no compensation for that, or nothing said. The people, the Indians, the people that have been oppressed, the Mexicans, the things that happened, the Spanish, the Spanish Inquisition here, things that happened, the people that were treated terribly. So when I say that about the whites being slaves, right? Whatever happened in the Holocaust as well. I'm only saying that we've each been a slave, okay? And we've each been a master in a past life, this life. But what you have to remember is the warrior spirit. And that is what you've come here to share with the world in this energy. It can't be fighting for things that don't make a difference, right? We have to have understanding and compassion for everyone's circumstances, right? Everyone's ancestors, we have compassion, but we understand that they suffered because they suffered for trying to change things in their lifetimes. We owe it to them to get it right this time. My brother, when he passed away, he told me, it's up to you, sis. You've got to get it right. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about at the time, but I do now. My family goes back to the Lindenmuths and beyond, of course. And they was, Colonel Michael Lindenmuth was second in command to George Washington in one of his battalions. Okay? It goes, my blood of my ancestors is here. This is one reason why I didn't want to actually come back to the United States, right, from Australia, because I knew it. I could feel the blood here. Now, I don't want them to have died for freedom in vain, and neither should any of us. So what happened with your ancestors, with slavery, with oppression, with not being understood, with being kept against their will, being killed, being murdered, being raped, pillaged, all the horrendous history, as they say, the horrible history. It doesn't need to continue. We need to put a stop to it all. And we don't do it by facing the evil straight in the eyes and taking it out. We have to do it individually with the strength in ourselves. The strength of will and determination within ourselves. And this will cure you. This will heal you. This will strengthen you. This will give you confidence and pride in yourself, and pride in your ancestors. They don't want you to feel sorry for them. They want you to do something about it with yourself, because you are them and they are you. You're never alone in this particular journey at all. It feels that way sometimes. And when we go through the most dire of circumstances, we feel alone, don't we? We feel like nobody's helping, nobody's listening, the angels aren't there, our guides aren't there, our loved ones aren't there. But I can tell you, if you can imagine a wall of people that you've been connected to through this life and past lives, Black, white, red, green, brown, doesn't matter. Because we've all been the other in the other, right? And if you can imagine a wall of people right now, just around the earth, right? So we see, well, the earth's behind me, it's a bit too big. But see where that light is on this side? Well, this side. Imagine that as your ancestors going around and around and around and around the earth. Like, come on. They're saying, come on. Come on. You don't have to fight fire with fire. You don't have to fight hate with hate. We've done all that before. We've done that before and it didn't work. We have to do it differently this time, or else they continue to escape and get away with what they're doing. They can't get your mind. They'll never get you. When your mind is sharp, you can do anything. Again, doesn't mean that you're heartless, you don't feel anything, you don't wish things were different. That's not what I'm talking about. But up here, you can focus this, you can train this, you can fix this, and everything in your life will have this ripple effect of change. And you will lift yourself up and away from the mundane world where everything's chaotic and put yourself in almost a bubble of light where you don't see the chaos anymore. It doesn't exist around you because you've created a different wormhole of reality. It's what it's called, manifesting. A different timeline. It's like a wormhole. Nothing's going on in that wormhole. That's the one you've created. Your mind can do it. You're told it doesn't happen. You've done it before. All you got to do is remember it. Tune into it. Accept it as your reality. So, I'm not your average, I don't know what. I don't have the fancy stuff everybody has. You know, I'd make do. I've always done that. I don't care either. What I care about is the message. The message that strengthens humanity. The message that is loving for humanity. The message that isn't tit for tat. Because we've all done horrendous things in this life and in past lives. You haven't been a saint the whole time, especially me. That's why I'm really determined to, I guess, in a sense, to make it right, to get it right. I must have had plenty of lifetimes where I'm like, God, got it wrong again. Shit, you gave up too soon. God, why did you do that? But in this lifetime, if you had asked me when I was a child what you're going to do when you're older, doing this, speaking, teaching, guiding, sharing, loving, supporting, it wasn't going to be in a bigger sense like this. All I wanted to be was a mum. And I got that. Now I'm ready for the next challenge, right? But it was the nurturing, the caring, the wanting to do the right thing was always inside of me. And it was always exploited. And this is why I've always had a trouble trying to explain myself on this channel or in everyday life. Because of the fear of rejection, fear of being mocked for it, laughed at, joked at. I couldn't give a crap if someone wants to waste their energy on me. I'll just make sure I transform that energy into wealth, into abundance, into time, into positive energy, whatever I can think of at the time. Instead of, you know, hating that it was coming in, just transforming it and moving on. Right? So, October 2022. What's it going to be for you? I mean, we can look at the cards and we can see what's coming in. We know that there are things that we don't see with our physical eyes, but things that we sense or things that are going on behind the scenes, right? Some of the stuff we don't really want to see, I'm telling you now. But there are things going on behind the scenes. For it to get this far, there's a whole lot that's happened behind the scenes, okay? Really think about what you want for your life. Think about what you stand up for. Think about what's the most important thing to you and put yourself in front of all of it. First, you first, you first, you first, not in a selfish manner, but you first. No more waiting back, holding doors and I'll wait, you go. I'll wait, you go. No, you go. You go ahead. Lead by inspiration. Lead by your life story. Lead by example. Don't see what's happened to you in your life as a weakness. If you are transgender or gay and you or whatever you think, I'm so happy for you to have the guts to come forward and be it. You don't need anybody else to appreciate it. You don't. That's a lie that you've been told. You just need to own it and we will love you for it. Believe me, the real people in this world will love you, all of you, for being you. Any single one of you. Whatever it is that you resonate with, if you're non-binary, if you, whatever you are, if you're just normal, you know, boy likes girl, girl likes boy, whatever. You are loved, you are accepted, you are so brave, no matter who you are. Don't let anyone make you feel that you are less, that you have to fight for someone to recognize you. You have to recognize you. And that'll make all the difference in your life. If your family doesn't love it and your family doesn't like it, it's only because they don't understand it. So they fear what they don't understand, and they do the very thing that you're terrified of, and that is reject that energy of what they don't understand. Remember, they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting what they don't understand. And a lot of that has to come with age and a non-healed reality. They won't even look at this stuff to heal themselves. Sad to say, right? But you lead by example. Have compassion. You know, create groups where people are actually lifting each other up instead of tearing each other down. You know? What about the spiritual community? We've been named as witches and freaks and demons for I don't know how long. Right? I see every now and then a little comment and I'm just like, whatever you reckon, whatever you think. Do you know? I don't care what you think. Especially if you're ugly and evil and hurtful. I'm not gonna give you any time in my day. But if you're willing to come forward and you're like, I want help, I want to understand my feelings, I want to release myself from the trauma, hey, I'm your person. I will help you till the cows come home. But you've got to help yourself as well. And if you had nothing on this earth and there's no rewards for what you do, would you still do it? I was doing it. You know, in the background, little Becky, in the background, laughed at, poked fun at, rejected, left to the wayside, or whatever. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. Oh my God. That is not what I'm saying. Because you can't, you know, it takes two to tango in arguments and things like that as well. You know, and I'm a Leo, let's face it. So if you push me too far, I'm going to roar, right? And it's usually just verbally. But I did take up, you know, kickboxing, Thai boxing, right? I took up all of those things to defend myself because, you know, being thumped around for many years, you don't want that to happen. And I realized I didn't even need that. I just need strength of mind. Strength of mind conquers any enemy because they don't have it. Okay? They don't have it. So I wanted to, I don't even know what all I wanted to do here other than say that I met some pretty interesting people today, my husband and I. And if they're watching right now, hi, you know who you are. Okay, I don't want to call you out. But, you know, you were there today and it was almost like it was being seen. It was like the first time, even for my husband and I, that people who didn't know who I was, or didn't know who he was, recognized the light, and they recognized their own, and that what they were feeling and thinking was actually normal. There was nothing crazy about whatever they had been going through, whatever was going on, whatever they believed in, that it was all accepted. And that's how you all need to feel within yourself. So with that, I'm going to remind you one more time. October, November, very interesting. Let's wait for it. Okay. And I hope that this finds you happy and well. I hope you've understood where my heart has come from in these messages. And if not, I know where my heart is coming from, with love and compassion for every single one of you. Every single one of you. Okay? And I hope to see you in my tarot course, which begins on October 31st, but you will get a saving before then. What's the other thing? On the Light Leaders Academy, there's free stuff you can do. I'll also be adding some more free workshops and webinars that you can start doing to start really tuning in and diving in. Okay? Start understanding yourself differently instead of through tainted eyes. And the support is there for you. Okay? Thank you all for sharing and subscribing and being here. Sending lots of love to every single one of you. And until the next time, bye for now. Let me see if I can turn this off. Bye.